What's up, 49er fans? This is Jason Aponte, and this is another edition of 49ers Talk. Wrote an article today on NinersNation.com. Don't yell at me. I didn't make the site's name up. I just work for them. But there was something that was kind of evident that came out to me, and I'll tie it into what it has to do with Seattle and what the 49ers need to improve on. And there's a multitude of reasons for why the offense had these little hiccups last season, and I'm going to go over all of that. But I want to start with the really, really good news that just came out. The San Francisco 49ers got back Jordan Watkins and Yetur Gross-Matos. The entire 53-man roster that was eligible to play is practicing today. That means that literally the everybody but basically Brandon Ayuk, Malik Mustafa, and Kevin Givens, everyone's a go. The entire practice squad is practicing. The entire 53-man roster is practicing. Jordan Watkins, Yetur Gross-Matos back. My goodness, what a turn of events from literally going from who in the hell is going to be able to go out there and put this team out there, and now you've got everybody back. It looks crazy. It looks crazy to me. You know, we had the Jawan Jennings news yesterday, which means he's ready to go. He's healthy for Sunday. How many snaps is he going to play? We don't know. Jordan Watkins is out there running routes today. You know, MVS is on the roster as well, too. Ricky Pearsall, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, the entire offensive line. Like, whoa, man. Like, how quickly did this change? And it's crazy to think that a joke that, you know, I tweeted out about getting the injuries out of the way early, it's looking like that on September 4th. I mean, we want to knock on wood and just make sure that everybody gets through this day, you know, healthy, good. But on a Thursday, when tomorrow's a walkthrough before you travel to Sunday, to have Jordan Watkins and Yetur Gross-Matos out there practicing in some form, shape, or fashion, whew, my goodness, man, this is going differently. And the Watkins thing is really what I want to focus in on, because that's what today's episode is about. So if anybody woke up around 8 o'clock on the Pacific, Pacific time zone, you know, my article came out, which I stayed up very late last night. I didn't get any sleep, and it wasn't because I was thinking about football or anything like that. I just have a tough time sleeping these days. Maybe I'm just too excited for the football game that's going on today and the fact that football's back. But, you know, last year, there were so many things that went into what happened with the 49ers on offense. Injuries. Brock Purdy self-admitting that he wasn't taking free money and throwing the football into dangerous places. You know, the wide receivers not gaining separation, protection breaking down. All of these things led to the 49ers not cashing in the red zone, being able to move the ball in between the 20s. And for the most part, there's not one single reason, right? But I started to think about how do defenses attack the 49ers, right? And what and one play doesn't correlate to the next. So what I mean by that is one play could be no separation and Brock had nowhere to throw the football, which led to a sack. Or it could be there was a little separation, the throw was off, or there was just good defense. Like, there's always something to contextualize it. There's no one single reason for a play, but those reasons, and then, you know, no Christian McCaffrey and Brendan Ayuk is lost. These things matter, right? Now, we fast forward into 2025. Christian McCaffrey's a go. Brandon Ayuk's not here. Ricky Pearsall is a guy who exploded onto the scene at the end of the season and right now is the best natural separator as a receiver for this team right now. You still have George Kittle, who's pretty good. Jawan Jennings is most likely going to be playing a little bit more outside, and I don't know how much they can really rely on Watkins coming off that high ankle sprain. It's just good to see him out there. But I kind of did some digging into this, and I wanted to kind of just talk about it. So, again, how can the 49ers get this offense back on track and looking more and more like the one in 2023? Well, the easy answer is that's going to be very difficult because they were literally one of the most efficient offenses in NFL history. So I want to throw that part out. But there are things that need to improve in 2025. The easy answer is commitment to the run game, and that unlocks play action, which has been dialed back with Brock Purdy. And the way that I explain it is Kyle Shanahan is giving more to Brock Purdy because he trusts him. But if McCaffrey's on the field, you run the ball a little bit more. You can utilize that play action and use him as someone who just has all that attention on him, right? I mean, that's not a big brain thought, right? taking what the defense is giving him is very important. And Brock Purdy admitted this a little bit about not playing within structure and not playing within stride and trying to do a little bit too much. You know what? Take the free money when it's there. I really enjoy when Brock Purdy takes shots because this offense has gone up with him as far as the 49ers go because of those. But sometimes it's got to be controlled aggression. And I think he understands that. And I was really glad to hear him say that in a press conference as well, too. Here's another one. Give Purdy protection. Being able to pick up these protections and how defenses are going at you, and we're going to start to get into that now. That'll help as well, too. Offensive line, okay? And 49ers receivers creating separation. I mean, again, this isn't big brain stuff here. But what I'm going to start to dig into is what specific defenses the 49ers need to improve against. And Brock Purdy needs to improve against in 2025. And if he does, if the offense does, then things are looking up. And the reason that I'm saying this is because I feel like this game plan that's going to be against them with Seattle and what Mike Macdonald is going to try to do is going to directly correlate to the things that kind of put Brock Purdy in some bad spots. So, first of all, let's start with his passing attempts. 455 passing attempts, career high in one less game than 2023. Now, we all know the circumstances for that, right? You're behind. Running the football, wasn't always the right thing to do because injuries. You just didn't have the numbers. Sometimes you were behind. Again, that all makes sense. But a 3.1% turnover worthy throw rate, which was 19th in the NFL. Now, what's a turnover worthy throw? Again, it doesn't have to land as an interception. It's basically the simplest way to put it is putting the ball in harm's way. And again, there's two schools of thought. Who cares it wasn't intercepted, or the process wasn't as good as the result? And I'll leave that up to you whether you think that this is valid, but I think that the correlation between what I found with the numbers and what I found with the types of defenses that Purdy had a higher turnover worthy throw rate, it directly correlates. So let's start with cover zero. So this one's pretty simple, guys. You guys know what cover zero is. It means all 5 secondary members are going to man up, and if you don't have a man to cover, you're coming on a blitz. It's basically all-out blitz, taking away quick throws, and longer routes can't develop due to the pressure. But the weakness of cover zero is the risky nature. If a receiver can find some space, then the scheme is broken. But this defense caused the fourth highest turnover worthy rate percentage by Brock Purdy at 3.4%. Now, why is that? Well, it's all of those things. It's not recognizing things pre-snap and post-snap, receiver separation, and the protection breaking down. You have only a few seconds to get, like, even, normal pass rushes, which it's 4. When it's 5 and 6 and it's faster players, you've got to pre and post snap recognize that and get the ball out. Now, can you get the ball out if guys aren't getting themselves open? Right? No Brandon Ayuk, their elite separator, one of the best in the game at that. Yeah, sure. That's absolutely true. There's ways to do that, but again, 3.4% turnover worthy play. Again, man-to-man, no deep safety. Essentially, daring the 49ers to throw the football, daring Brock Purdy to beat him, daring these receivers to try and win. Again, last year, the receiving room, Juwan Jennings, and then Ricky Pearsall joined at the end, and the 49ers were trying to piece it all together. So don't take this as, oh, this is going to continue, because the wide receiver room is far better this season. And Ricky Pearsall is taking a step. And they'll eventually get Brandon Ayuk back. To what degree, we'll figure out. But cover zero last year, teams were not afraid to throw that at the 49ers, and it turned into, no throws. 3.4% turnover-worthy throw rate. So again, just remember the defenses. I'm going to go through what the responsibilities are, what that's going to look like, and really try to get into why there is the number that comes up with it. Okay. Cover 1 is man-to-man with a single high safety. Now, this is real easy, right? But the problem is that this variation, and this is one of the highest turnover-worthy throw rates right here, 5.3% on cover 1 man-to-man single high. And the different variations are what makes cover 1 so hard. Cover 1 robber begins with a too high safety look, and then you have the strong safety fall to the middle of the field, take away those crossers, right, in the middle of the field. That's something that this offense is predicated on, is hitting those crossers in the middle of the field throws. The windows close faster, and you can disguise blitzes very well from cover 1 man-to-man. Now, it can also be used to bracket the number one receiver, meaning the single high safety can come down on the X receiver and bracket him, knowing that it's going to be him and you're good everywhere else man to man. Again, I don't think the 49ers can see this over and over if they have consistent separators at the position, guys that really that strike fear into your heart. It was very evident that teams were just not worried about being beat man to man, and they were fine with either bracketing, trying to disguise things, and it just cover one ultimately forces tighter windows to throw into, and it helps prevent the blown coverages on the back end. Again, just daring the 49ers to throw the ball at him. This turnover worthy play rate was the second highest, and that's cover one man, 5.3%. Now, again, last year, multiple things were true. Separation issues, protection issues, Purdy forcing the ball a little bit more, trying to do a little bit too much. Each play has a different story, but all three of these things contributed to why you see this number that's up on the screen. Okay. Cover two man, which is man-to-man with two high safeties, 8.3%. This is by far the highest. Now, you're starting to get the picture. Last year, against man, it was getting scary. And this is where defenses were attacking the 49ers and saying, you know what? We're good with our defense against your guys. Can you beat this? We don't think you can. And until you do, we're not going to change this up. So this is by far Purdy's highest turnover worthy rate, 8.3%. Again, without pure separators, teams are just saying, you know what, Juwan Jennings, we'll take our chance. You know, what are you going to do? You're not going to beat us over the top. And in this coverage, corners can employ the trail technique, meaning they can get in front of a receiver and chase him, knowing they've got two high safeties over the top. So this is a way that they can be a little bit more aggressive, take away the quick throws, and then if you want to try to run double moves, they've got something over the top. Again, man to man. This is where the turnover-worthy throw rates are the highest. Now, the way that you do attack this defense is motion and crossing routes, which the 49ers use a lot of, but they have to be situations where the 49ers win these things from the pocket. Given the lack, and the thing is cover two man, it's got a lack of flexibility and blitz disguises from that cover scheme. So I want to point something out. I just don't want anybody to get really upset with me, and I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to start looking at the comments real quick. There were two game plans that I feel like in 2023, everyone in 2024 said, we're going to run this against you. And even in 2023, Brandon Ayuk was elite at separating, and the 49ers offense was rolling. But the two teams that really laid the blueprint for how people were going to attack the 49ers in 2024 was Baltimore on Christmas Day and in the Super Bowl. Kansas City did this. Baltimore did this. Now, I want to reiterate, this is a point that I've been making since 2023 when it happened. You can run the scheme. Do you have the players? And the answer is, in 2024, a lot of these defenses didn't, but the 49ers didn't have the X separator that was there to combat this, meaning Brandon Ayuk. No matter what you feel about his contract situations, you have to, in his Kyle Shanahan offense, have an X receiver who can get himself open. End of sentence. Full stop. And if you don't have that, this is how teams are going to attack a Kyle Shanahan offense with good, not great receivers. Ricky Pearsall is the best natural separator on the roster today. Brandon Ayuk, when at full strength, and if he's at full strength, is one of the best separators in the game. But if you don't have all of these things, this is how defenses are going to attack you. And I hate to say it, Baltimore and Kansas City, they laid the blueprint for in 2024 when you look up and you see, hey, Brandon Ayuk is now injured and it's just Juwan Jennings and we'll take our chance against all these other guys. This is what you get, and it was a departure. Now, I only say that to say this, that when it gets to zone coverage, Purdy cooked, and his offense cooked. Why? Because the windows are there. He's able to see it. Receivers are sitting it down in the zones. So the third highest turnover-worthy pass rate was 3.5% against cover two. That's zone with 2 high safeties and 5 underneath defenders, 3.5%. But against cover 3, a 2.4% rate. That's zoned with 3 secondary members over the top and 4 underneath. And a 1.4% rate against cover 4. That's 4 secondary members up top and 3 underneath. So it's always 7 when it's zone and obviously 4 rushing, right? Brock Purdy was perfect against cover 6, which is a variation, and it's cover 4 to one side, cover 2 to the other. You can flip and mix and match. Depends on whatever it is. He had a 0.0 turnover worthy pass rate. That means the ball was never in harm's way when you're trying to disguise the coverage in cover 6, which, by the way, some people would say is not a real coverage. But this is what Purdy did well last year and the year before that. So defenses weren't going to continue to let them just get beat in laid-back zone looks. That is where teams changed their philosophy, given the personnel the 49ers had, given the separators the 49ers had, and given what Purdy was successful against. In these zone coverages, very rarely are you going to blitz. You can send one guy, but what the age-old adage is, if you have a defender who's blitzing from whatever side, throw the football there, because no one's going to be able to replace him. You throw the football at the blitz. You throw it that way because that's where the window is going to be. Everyone else is falling into their zones. So, again, people weren't taking that chance. They could try it in man because they had everybody manned up and they felt good about their matchups. But in zone, when you do that, you're leaving a big gap in the zone and you have to attack that. So, again, all of these things are, and the reason that I'm bringing it up is just last season, playing in structure, taking what the defense gives you, separation from the receivers, taking calculated risks, again, controlled aggression, and hitting each opportunity when you get them. This is what they need to improve on this season. All of those things. Every single part can be that. Every single part can be improved on. So for me, I feel like there's a correlation to what the 49ers are going to see on Sunday. I believe Mike Macdonald, who was the person who created that game plan in 2023 against the Baltimore Ravens. And again, the Baltimore Ravens have Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton, Matabike, right? We understand those things. But the 49ers are going to have to separate from man coverage in this game. Otherwise, the blitzes are going to come. The looks behind are going to get more complex. So the reason I brought all this up is it was a stark difference between what the offense struggled with in 2024 with man and zone. Obviously, they cooked in zone. Man, they struggled. And what Mike Macdonald is going to try to employ on Sunday. So you have to understand that this is probably going to be the way that the 49ers are going to be attacked until they prove that they can't be attacked that way. How do you do that? Ricky Pearsall has to hoop. You have to get Christian McCaffrey involved and keep that onus on it and attention on him. And that'll open things up. People won't be able to sit over there and in run fits, all the way back and things like that, right? Like, that's not going to happen. You've got to bring people up. You got to use play action. There's ways to beat this, but they have to improve in this area. They just have to improve in this area. For me, until the 49ers prove that they have separators, legit separators who can get themselves open, not open by Kyle Shanahan's scheme, open on their own route running merits. And I mean, not Jawan Jennings open where it's a step and he makes a 50-50 play. Like Brandon Ayuk open where he's getting himself open. Ricky Pearsall at the end of the year open, getting himself open. That kind of open. Until they do that, teams are going to dare them and dare them and dare them in the pass game to beat them that way. Again, the Chiefs had the personnel. They had the defensive coordinator, and they had the mind to get it done in the Super Bowl. Same thing with Baltimore. You have the defensive personnel. You have the defensive coordinator. But now, you're not going to be facing those teams this entire season, but teams are still lifting what they see from there. And a lot of that has to do with the guys that you have to prove that they are X separators and able to get themselves open and not open by Kyle Shanahan's scheme. Get themselves open. Every single time this offense has boomed, and I've said this a million times, and I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Every single time that this offense has boomed, 3 times, Houston with Matt Schaub and Andre Johnson, dominant X who can get himself open. Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, dominant X who can get himself open. 2023, Brandon Ayuk and Brock Purdy, dominant X who can get himself open. Kyle Shanahan's still going to craft an offense even if he doesn't have that X. But to make this offense boom, you need a dominant X who can get themselves open. Shout out to everybody in here. 33 people, 20 minutes in 4:50 Eastern time. Just going over some things that I noticed from last year and things that I think are going to correlate to what Seattle's going to try to do on Sunday. If you didn't hear the news when you first got here, Jordan Watkins is back at practice. So is Yetur Gross-Matos. The active 53-man roster. The active 53-man roster is practicing in full. The entire 53-man roster and practice squad is practicing today. Obviously, no Brandon Ayuk, no Malik Mustafa, no Kevin Gibbons. But any able-bodied 49er who has a chance to play on Sunday is practicing today in some form. Cannot believe it. And the way that this started was because Jordan Watkins returned. And what is he going to be? And how quickly can he be up to speed? How quickly can he be effective? What's his role going to be? Week to week, things are going to change. Seattle, what they've been able to craft is they've been able to fix their linebacker room. They've got their secondary, which I feel is a big plus for them. And it's going to allow Mike McDonald to get tricky with the looks with Witherspoon and Julian Love and Nick Emenwari. I think he's a stud as well, too. And up front, Byron Murphy, Boye Mafe, DeMarcus Lawrence, they've got guys. Not to the degree that the Baltimore Ravens have guys, clearly, especially not that 2023 group, but they've got guys. And you can bet that this defense is going to be a lot more tricky, and they're going to be able to take more chances on the back end because they do have confidence in their secondary. The key is the 49ers have to back them off and put them on their heels defensively by creating their own separation and still being able to throw the football. There's different ways to do that. You still have to stick to the run. I think this is going to be a run-heavy game plan. But when you're in those obvious passing situations, if you become predictable and you are not creating separation, you are going to have a tough time in straight drop back positions against this defense if you don't have a separator at X. Pardon me, I'm going to have a drink real quick. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. 3 shows tomorrow as well. A lot going on because we're getting ready for Sunday. How you guys feeling about Thursday Night Football? And drop your predictions in the chat. I got the Eagles winning 45-10 today. This game's going to be a bloodbath in my opinion. Okay. So, again, if you guys want to read the article, it's up on NinersNation.com. Again, I didn't come up with the name. I just worked there. But it was something that, I wrote almost 1,000 words on, and I feel proud about. And there's a chart there as well too. There's a chart there as well too, for you guys to check it out for the visual learners, and if you wanted to go through it and check out who has higher turnover-worthy plays and what they struggle against. Sam Darnold's up there when it comes to breaking into, I can go through his, actually, if you guys want to do that as well, too. So maybe some insight into how Robert Saleh can attack Sam Darnold. Let's see. So we got Sam Darnold at, let's see. So Brock Purdy's right behind Baker Mayfield and ahead of Daniel Jones, and Sam Darnold is last with 4.1% overall turnover-worthy throws. Overall. Only person ahead of him is Geno Smith. That's the only person that's ahead of him on this list. So confusing him with different looks is always going to be the goal. He's going to throw you one. The 49ers got to take advantage. But we're going to dive into exactly what he struggles with, and I'm going to pull it up on the screen so everybody can see it. Just give it a second. It's loading. But Obviously Sam Darnold's going to throw one in somebody's belly, and it's going to be up to the 49ers to go ahead and take that back, and make sure you don't let it hit the ground. Oh man, my computer's so slow, man. All right, got it. Give me 1 second. What are you guys yelling about in here? Let's keep it clean, guys. Let's keep it clean, chat. Let's see. All right, let's do this. Okay. All right. So, let me see if it's popped up on the screen how this looks. All right. Almost there, almost there, almost there. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Perfect. So, he's not last. I got that wrong. Jameis Winston's last. But amongst the starting quarterbacks, he's just ahead of Jordan Love. It was Kirk Cousins. He didn't finish the season. And Dak Prescott. Like, that's not good. So let's look. 5.9% on cover 0 for Sam Darnold. So again, straight blitz, man-to-man across, no single high safe, no high safeties, right? 4.1% overall turnover-worthy plays. 3.1% turnover-worthy plays on cover 1 man. 6.2% in cover 2 man. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. 4.7% cover 2. 3.3% cover 3. 5.9% cover 4. Now again, it seems like he struggles with, let's see. Struggles more with zone. But I would argue that the difficulties that he's having, against man isn't so bad. It's really more, well, Justin Jefferson's probably going to get himself open and he's down there somewhere, right? So I wouldn't necessarily say that he's good against man or anything like that, but that's where you're probably going to be able to create your pressure. Now in zone, when you try to mix it up and you try to disguise things and fooling him, that's where you'll probably have your chances. So it's going to be interesting week to week to watch what Robert Saleh does, whether it's just going to be this week that he's just going to send the dogs in him and see what happens, or he's going to, mix things up with cover 3. It's going to all be relying on what they can get up front, but it's going to be interesting. I'm so fascinated with what's going to happen between Robert Saleh and Clint Kubiak and Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDonald, but it's very clear that when you force Sam Darnold to scan the field with different disguises, again, cover 4, cover 6. Cover 6 is cover 4 to one side, cover 2 to the other. If you're able to disguise all that and make him think on the field, that's when you're going to get the boneheaded throws. Now, again, just because he has better numbers against man last year, I definitely wouldn't correlate that to, well, I would say this. He was better early in the season. He was better in the middle of the season. Towards the end of the season is where he kind of tailed off. But when it comes to man, really helps when you have one of the best receivers in the game. He's my favorite receiver in the game, so I'm gonna praise him. Justin Jefferson to get himself open in a phone booth. So I don't know how much to correlate to. Yes, he did improve, but yes, Justin Jefferson is gonna get himself open. So it's gonna be interesting. I think the 49ers have a chance to really mix things up, show everybody at the line, drop everybody into zone. Whether it's cover 3, cover 4, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, that's where you're going to really find the success against Sam Darnold, because you're going to have to make him wait for windows to throw, to open up. Now, I will say this. He has a stronger arm than Brock, so even if he has even a hesitance or a little late of seeing the window, he can still get the ball into that spot. So it's going to be up to the defensive line to knock that shit off and make sure that you knock him down and you hit him and you keep him on the ground. So it's going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see what the 49ers do here. And remember, last year, Sam Darnold was in a Kevin O'Connell offense, which is like it's off the McVay tree more than is the Shanahan, even though it's, Shanahan, McVay, LaFleur, like whatever. But, Kubiak's far more like Shanahan. The only thing that he does more than Shanahan is just pre-snap motion. Which he had the Saints up there at the top of the league with. So Robert Saleh has a lot at his disposal. Again, if the pass rush is there, then you can just rush for it and drop everyone, and that's gonna create some things. If you're not getting there, then you're gonna find yourself in trouble because you're giving him too much time. So it's going to be interesting. I think the way that you're really going to dial up the pressure and keep mixing it up is probably in a man coverage setting. But if you're getting there with your four, if you're getting there in those third downs with Huff and Bosa and Michael and Yetur Gross Models, then it really gives you the flexibility to do whatever you want. So guys, that's going to do it for me. 30 minutes. I appreciate you guys for tapping in with me. It's 2 o'clock on the West Coast, 5 o'clock on the East Coast. Again, I don't know if anybody saw the stream yesterday. There's a link in the description for 49ers merchandise by Foco. They have great stuff. They sent me a bunch of hats yesterday. I think they sent me another package, which should be here either today or tomorrow. So I can't wait to show with you guys. But great merchandise, things for kids, hats, sweaters, bobbleheads, memorabilia, whatever it is that you guys prefer. So check the link in the description, foco.com, and check out all the 49ers stuff. And the bobbleheads are pretty cool. Like they have some Snoopy ones and, Joe Montana and Steve Young, things like that. So check those out. Get yourself outfitted for the NFL season by using foco.com. Link in the description. I'm going to get out of here. My name is Jason Aponte. Enjoy Thursday night football. And we'll see you tomorrow with so much content. Go Niners.